In this video, I'm going to be talking about how you can generate a lead magnet that will attract your audience to you. If you're looking for a way to grow your audience for your business, then you've got to find a way to attract those people into your world so that you can build a relationship with them so that they start to know you, like you, and trust you, and therefore want to buy from you. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Bev Thorogood. I'm a business coach and strategist working predominantly with those in the wellness field to help them transition from their private practice into the corporate market. But what I'm covering today is going to be relevant to you regardless of whether you're in the wellness industry, regardless of whether you're B2B or B2C. So hang around and we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of what is a lead magnet. Okay, so if you're new to business, you may not be familiar with the term lead magnet, but I would bet you've been the recipient of a lead magnet at some time in the past. A lead magnet is simply a valuable resource that you are offered for free, or you offer for free in exchange for an email address. That's the currency, is the email address. So it's a transfer of value. You're either receiving or giving away something of value, and you are either receiving or giving away your email address in exchange. So for the purposes of this video, I'm going to talk as if you are the business and you are creating a lead magnet so that you can capture their email address. Now, I'll talk about why having an email list is so important in this video. So when we've done, go and watch that one and it'll all make sense. It all fits in together. So a good lead magnet is the key to having a steady flow of potential clients coming into your email list. Think of it like an entry ticket that leads prospects into your world of expertise, where you can show off your expertise so that when they're ready to buy, they know that you're the first person they want to go to. So your lead magnet could be anything really of value. Generally, they're a digital product. It's normally something that's very easy to deliver to the person who's opted in. So digital is always good. So things like ebooks, checklists, templates, video trainings, email trainings work quite well as a lead magnet. But what you don't want to be doing is having a lead magnet that gives you a lot of work to do. So you want it to be automated so it happens seamlessly in the background. You don't want to be giving away something that you then have to hold inventory. You've got to go and pack it all up and send it out. Ideally, something digital works really, really well, and it works well in the corporate world as well as in the B2C world. You also don't want to be spending too long creating it. It's amazing how something that you think is pretty insignificant, maybe it only takes you an hour to create, but it actually has loads of value for your potential clients. My absolute favorite lead magnet as a target, what I would call a targeted lead magnet, does involve me doing some work, but I like this type of lead magnet because it gives people the opportunity to really get to know and see who I am, and that's through a live webinar. Now, I particularly like this in the corporate world where you're wanting to stand out. So putting on a webinar of some sort that gives an introduction to your topic, especially if it's one that maybe they don't know they need yet. So a lot of stuff in the wellness space are about topics that people don't know that they need. So just to give you an example, for me, I was talking about menopause, and in the early days, I mean, everybody's talking about menopause now, which is fantastic, but 6 years ago, people weren't. So part of my role in terms of my lead generation was to have to actually educate my potential clients to the fact that they needed what I was talking about. And I found an easy way to do that was to schedule a free live webinar, and I called it an introduction to menopause in the workplace. So I kept it very simple, and the contents of the webinar, it's normally a 60-minute webinar. It was an interactive webinar where people could actually talk to me on Zoom. But the content was really adding value with some some ideas that businesses could be thinking about to incorporate menopause awareness into their business. But it was effectively a lead generating webinar. To an extent, it was a bit of a sales webinar, but that wasn't the primary purpose. The primary purpose of getting people onto a webinar was to capture their email address so that I could continue to build a relationship and communicate with them. Now, in the corporate world, the chances are that you're not going to have somebody dive onto a webinar and immediately go, yes, please, I want that, I'll buy that right now. It doesn't really happen like that, which is why it's not a sales webinar as such. Yes, we talk about the services we offer, but it's not the main purpose of the webinar isn't to sell, it's to capture that lead, that effectively that individual has put their hand up and said, yes, I'm going to join your webinar, and then I'm going to hopefully attend the webinar. And that just kind of indicates to me as a business that they're interested in what I'm offering. And the beauty with a webinar is, we don't want to get too hung up on, well, what they didn't actually attend, they registered, but they didn't turn up. Do you know, that's not as important, because what is important is having that email address so that you can then start to nurture that contact or that lead through your emails. If they turn up on the webinar, that's brilliant. But that, again, isn't really the purpose of running the webinar. The purpose of running the webinar is to get the lead. So, don't worry if you put on a webinar and 25 people sign up and only 5 turn up. In actual fact, in some ways, that's even better, because when you've got a small group like that, you've captured 25 leads, but you've got 5 people on the call that you can really get to know and build some trust with. And they're likely to be the ones that will buy more quickly from you. So it's a win-win all around. That's why I absolutely love awareness webinars as a lead generator in the corporate market. And you can do it just as well in the B2C market. Again, the process is exactly the same, and I teach that process of how do you actually go about doing that. I teach that in my Working with Corporates programs. So another great lead magnet, especially in the corporate world, is to put together a toolkit. Here you collate a selection of useful resources all into one place that your potential lead can tap into. So it's basically a compendium of lots of useful resources. So it could be links to websites, it could be links to templates or checklists that you've created, it could be a little quiz that they can use with their employees. It could be any number of things. It could be video tutorials that you've created in the past, and you just put them together in a toolkit that your client can use, and it brings a value. Basically saves them time, saves them having to go and find all of these things. You've done the work for them and you've just put it together. It could be on a web page, so they just get the link to a page that has all of these resources on there, or it could be a PowerPoint that you send and it's got links to all of the things that you're sharing with them through a PowerPoint. It could even just be a PDF with links to all of those resources. It can be as simple or as complicated as you like. One of my very best converting lead generators or lead magnets was a 1-page workplace checklist. And I literally created it in an hour. I was on a co-working Zoom meeting with a colleague of mine. We used to get together every now and again when we wanted to get something done without distractions. We'd jump on a Zoom call, we'd tell each other what we were going to be creating in that hour, what we were going to get done in that hour. Then we would just crack on and do it. And in that 1 hour, I created, just in Canva, a checklist, like a spot audit that my corporate clients could use. It was generally the HR teams that would download it. And it was basically 4 areas that they could tick a box. It was looking at the culture in their organisation. Is menopause talked about openly in the organisation? Tick if yes. There was another area for training. Are line managers trained to understand menopause? Tick or not. Do you have an intranet site with resources for your menopausal employees? Tick or not. And the whole purpose of this, it was to give the client a moment in time indicator of how menopause friendly their organisation was, and it enabled them to just have a quick look and go, yeah, okay, we seem to have a lot of support in place for those going through it, but there's nothing here for sort of supporting our managers. Maybe that's an area we could work on. And it was so simple and yet so beneficial. Something like that that is very quick to produce, is easy for the end user to use, but adds immense value, is a great lead magnet. Now, your lead magnet is the first step in moving cold leads through your sales funnel, where you can continue to warm them up until they're ready to buy from you. Think of a sales funnel like a real funnel, where you're able to filter those prospects that are a good fit for you by getting them to metaphorically raise their hand to say, yes, I want to enter your world. That's the top of the funnel. You can then use subsequent touch points to warm them up until they're, again, ready to buy from you. So let me try and explain this in a bit more detail. So imagine a funnel with several layers. At the top, you have your cold audience. These are people who don't know you. They've never come across you. They don't know what they don't know. They don't know you. They may not even know that they have a problem that you can solve. They may know they've got a problem, but they don't know that you can solve it. So these are people that are absolutely cold in terms of how knowledgeable they are about you. And your lead magnet is the first step to moving them from cold to a little bit warmer. So you would put your lead magnet out onto social media, you'd have it on your website, you'd share it at networking events, you'd have it on your signature block. Again, watch this video here where I explain how you can distribute that lead magnet. But you want to kind of bring them into that funnel. So once they've put their hand up, they've seen this lead magnet that sounds very, very useful to them, they've decided they want it, they've opted in to the lead magnet through an opt-in form, giving you their email address. They're now coming into your world. They're now aware of you. They now understand that you have something that solved their problem. So now you've piqued their interest. Now you've got their attention. So once you've got them in your world, they're on your email list, we now need to keep that communication going. We need to continue to build that relationship. There's no point in just giving them their lead magnet and then never speaking to them again and expecting them to suddenly put their hand up and say, I want to buy from you. It's not going to work like that. This is where your email list is so important. So we start to nurture them by sending them regular emails that, again, add value. Give them a little bit more understanding of your topic, so you can use those emails to further educate, to agitate the problem that they may not even realise that they have. Ultimately, we want to get our leads to become clients, but we have to warm them up first. There's a great dating analogy, you may have come across this, but you wouldn't ask somebody to marry you on a first date. You'd want to woo them a little bit, take them out on a few more dates, get to know each other, maybe even start cohabiting together before you make that plunge into marriage. It takes time. You have to have lots and lots of trust builders along the way, different touch points. And it's the same with your email list. Your leads come into you cold at the top of the funnel, and think of your funnel as your courting time. And the further down the funnel you get, the closer you get to marriage or the sale. So in terms of creating your lead magnet, well, an effective lead magnet really means understanding your audience's needs. So going back to the checklist that I talked about earlier, I knew from past experience, from talking to corporate clients, that they basically didn't know where to start. So they had loads of different ideas but didn't know which were the most important. The checklist was so valuable because it gave them a starting point. So I'd learned through getting to know my audience and understanding their needs what would be beneficial to them. So you need to do some research and find out what are the problems that your ideal clients are having, and then create a lead magnet that fixes something around their problem. Now, a lead magnet is not intended to fix all of their problems, otherwise why would they ever need to buy from you? But it's designed to fix a problem, a specific problem. In my case with the workplace checklist, it was providing value in solving the problem of where do I start? What things do I need to be considering? Very simple. So assuming your lead magnet is some sort of download or a registration for a webinar, you need to make sure that you're sharing that link, that opt-in, share it everywhere. But also make sure that they have to actually give you their email address in order to get it. Don't just send them a link to the PDF or the Zoom link if it's a webinar. They actually have to register for it, or they have to opt in. Make sure that you're only collecting the information you need. Make it as frictionless as possible for the person signing up. So email is all you really need. But I always ask for the first name as well, just so I can personalize my emails. And if you want to see an example of how this works, I've actually created a Getting Started with Corporates checklist to help wellness professionals to get started in corporate. So I'll leave a link in the description below. If you are looking to get started in the corporate wellness market, you're definitely going to want to download it, because I go through 4 key steps that you need to put in place to set yourself up properly for the corporate world. You can see, apart from anything else, how the process works. So how I've created a landing page, an opt-in, and how I deliver that lead magnet to you. So if you're enjoying this video, do hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on future content, and I'd love you to hit the like button if you're enjoying it. Let me know in the comments what else would be useful to you that I could create to help you get started with the corporate market. Now, once you've created your lead magnet and your audience is starting to grow, you have to nurture them, you have to send them out emails regularly. I would say weekly is good. Weekly seems to work quite well in the corporate market. Keep them short and succinct, but think about your own capacity, think about the audience's capacity for actually reading those emails, but find a good cadence so you get into the routine of communicating regularly with your email list. And as I mentioned earlier, you're going to want to watch this video next, because in this video I go into much more detail about how and why you should build your email list using a lead magnet.